You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 161.1, our daily report on everything Central Indiana sports and a little bit of national sports news.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report. We love having you with us. Today is January 28th, 2025. It's a Tuesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Madison Grant High School, producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Today we have a little bit of girls basketball, a little bit of boys basketball, some high school football news, plus a huge performance by a local kid in women's college basketball. But before we get to all of that, please go like, subscribe, or follow us on your favorite podcasting host site so you don't miss a single segment. Don't forget, we're also at YouTube now as well. We start with girls basketball in the final week of the regular season. Kokomo warmed up for Tuesday's conference championship clincher at Muncie Central with a 59-18 win over Tipton. Known for their defense and balance, the Wildcats held Tipton scoreless in the first quarter and to 1 point in the third. Kokomo had 4 players with at least 8 points. 10 different Kokomo players scored in the win. Kokomo led 21-0 after the first quarter and 44-9 at halftime. They shot 49% and held Tipton to 24% and forced 23 Blue Devil turnovers. Sophomore Bella Richards was the only player in double figures with 12 points. She also had 6 rebounds. Freshman Jordan Brown and senior Michaela Drake finished with 9 points apiece, and junior Eliana Stewart had 8. Sophomore Satira Scott finished with 4 points and a team best 6 assists, and senior Reagan McLean had 3 points and led the team with 5 steals. Tipton was led by 6 points and 4 rebounds from senior Holland Wilson. Senior Hannah Olson added 4 points and 3 rebounds. Tipton is 2-19 and goes to 13-7 Rossville to complete the regular season on Thursday. 15-7 Kokomo goes to Muncie Central on Tuesday with a chance to clinch a share of the North Central Conference. Then they face 20-3 McCutcheon in the Sectional 7 semifinal next Friday at Harrison. McCutcheon beat Kokomo 54-45 on December 13th. Liberty Christian improved to 5-5 with a 61-39 win over Southwestern, heading in to a sectional that they probably feel that they can win. They have just 5 players, 4 of them freshmen and a sophomore, just a year after not even fielding a team. Taylor suffered a 58-29 HHC loss to Rochester. Rochester's Riley Clevenger had 21 points for the Zebras, who held Taylor scoreless over the final 6 minutes. Also, just outside of the area, Lafayette Jeff beat Tri-County 52-39, and Peru won its 7th game in a row, 51-43 over Manchester. Whitko beat Lewers 71-68 in overtime. Kokomo isn't the only local team with a chance to win a conference championship on Tuesday. Sheridan will clinch the Hoosier Heartland with a win over 16-4 Clinton Central, and Pendleton Heights will clinch at least a share of the Hoosier Heritage with a home win over 12-9 Shelbyville. Also in local girls basketball on Tuesday, 14-8 is at 17-3 Wapahani in a big sectional warm-up game. 10-11 Frankton goes to 9-12 Mississinewa before closing its regular season Thursday against rival Elwood. 7-15 Western visits 7-13 Tri-Central in Tri-Central's regular season finale. And 13-6 Yorktown goes to 15-6 Greenfield Central. The penultimate girls coaches poll came out Monday. Hamilton Southeastern remains number 1 in 4A, and Greensburg is number 1 in 3A. The Royals and Pirates are the only unbeaten teams left in the entire state of Indiana. 21-2 South Knox got 8 of the 9 first-place votes in 2A. Number 3 Alexandria got the other one, but somehow fell a spot Behind Hoosier champion Rensselaer Central, Marquette Catholic is number 1 in Class A. The top 5 in Class A, Marquette Catholic, Borden, North Central, Westville, and Tri-County. Central Catholic is number 8 and got a first place vote. Central Catholic is number 14. The top 5 in 2A are South Knox, Rensselaer Central, Alexandria, Eastside, and Austin. Northeastern is number 9. Sheridan is 11th. Whitko 12th. Eastern Hancock 13th, and Oak Hill 17th. The top of the 3A poll features Greensburg, which got all of the first place votes, Washington, Silver Creek, Evansville Central, and Columbia City. I believe the top 4 are all in the same regional. Belmont is 6th, and Norwell is 9th. Both are in the sectional 22 field with Marion and Mississinawa. And the top 5 in 4A, Hamilton Southeastern, defending state champion Lawrence Central, Homestead, and Warsaw. Noblesville is 5th. The Millers have won 13 straight games. In the latest boys poll, only 5 teams across all 4 classes earned any first place votes this week. Fishers received all of them in Class 4A, South Bend St. Joseph's, all of them in 3A, and Clay City, all of the first place votes in Class A. Wapahani remains number 1 in 2A despite its first loss of the season to Newcastle. Third-ranked South Ripley received 1 first place vote. The top 5 in 4A are Fishers, Crown Point, Greenfield Central, Westfield, and Anderson, 4 of the 5 in Central Indiana. Lawrence North is 8th, and Lawrence Central and North Central are tied for 13th. Guerin Catholic is number 2 behind South Bend St. Joseph's in the 3A poll. Defending champion Brownstown Central is 3rd, Northwood 4th, and Cathedral 5th. New Pal comes in at 6th. Wapahani, Linton, Stockton, and South Ripley are 1, 2, and 3 in 2A. Lures is 4th, and Gary 21st Century is 5th. That is a really good top 5. All of them are serious championship contenders. Manchester 7th, Northeastern 8th, Tipton 10th, and Taylor 11th. And in Class A, the top 5 is Clay City, Orleans, Metropolitan, Bloomfield, and Triton. Carroll is ranked 9th. Clinton Prairie 10th. Liberty Christian 12th, and Monroe Central 14th. In the USA Today poll, Guerin Catholic is number 1 in 3A, and Wapahani fell to number 3 in 2A, with South Ripley taking the top spot. Not much basketball on Monday, but 3A number 4 Cathedral beat number 5 Attucks to win the Indianapolis City Championship. Also, former Hamilton Southeastern star Jalen Harrelson, who's now at La Lumiere, and Greenfield Central's Braylon Mullis were named McDonald's All-Americans on Monday. One big local game Tuesday on the boys' side, 10-3 Delta is at 10-5 Blackford. The Bruins have won 4 in a row under first-year head coach Aaron Daniels. In some football news, Delta offensive lineman Jay Crawford committed to continue his career at Indiana Wesleyan. To women's college basketball, former Northwestern star Kendall Bostic put on a show and led Illinois to a 74-38 blowout win at Purdue on Monday. Bostic, a senior from Kokomo, finished with 17 points on 6 of 10 shooting with 11 rebounds. She also became the program's all-time leading rebounder in the win and got an ovation from the Purdue crowd when she did so. Illinois led 24-11 at the end of the first quarter, 40-19 at the half. Purdue shot just 29%, turned the ball over 15 times, and was out-rebounded by the Illini. The Boilermakers are now 7-13 and still looking for their first Big Ten win. Illinois is 15-5. Yarden Garzon was 8 for 10 from behind the three-point line, and IU needed every single one of them in a 73-70 victory at Washington late Monday. Garzon was 18 from the field overall and had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Sydney Parrish added 16 points and 6 rebounds for the Hoosiers, who are now 13-7. Indiana and Illinois are now both 5-4 in the Big Ten, tied for 9th. Number 1 UCLA and number 4 USC are tied atop the standings at 8-0, with Ohio State a half game back at 8-1. Today, Ball State's men host Western Michigan at 7, and Ball State's women are at Ohio State on Wednesday. Both games are on ESPN+. In some NBA news, the Heat have indefinitely suspended Jimmy Butler after he walked out of practice. It's Butler's third suspension this season. The Pacers are 25-20 and back in action Wednesday at home against 23-23 Detroit after splitting a pair of games with the Spurs in Paris last week. And IU and Purdue play Friday. And the Chiefs opened as a 1.5-point favorite over the Eagles in Super Bowl licks. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. And we thank you so much for listening. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.